what you want.
Welcome back. No Means No Thing, No Means Nothing, episode 27. The podcast where three complete idiots try the impossible task of finding the very best No Means No song of all time. There isn't one, spoiler, but we're going to try anyway. It's really good to have you back. We're coming back from a little break. You wouldn't know that because we've already put episodes back up, but this is our first episode recording after the break. You may know my stupid voice. I'm Jordan.
I'm Matthew.
And I have the stupidest voice of all, Michelle.
There we go. Three idiots back again. Really glad to be back, guys. I miss doing the podcast, miss seeing you guys. And I'm ready to, I guess, dive into four pretty fucking No Means No-ish songs here. I don't really know how to categorize them. This one's kind of all over the map.
No Means No-ish?
No Means No-ish. But you all know, before we even begin to talk about music, we first have to dip into the world of alcohol. And I am just going to have a little sniff of my Armagnac, which I have not had now for 3 weeks. So I'm looking forward to this. Yummy stuff.
You haven't had any in 3 weeks?
This is the only time I drink it is for this show. Like I said,
Wow.
I don't really drink much.
That's some self-discipline right
weed,
there.
But I don't do the alcohol.
That's self-discipline. Wow. I'm proud of you.
I just don't like it as much. It's not discipline. It's not hard for me. I don't have to keep away from it. I just don't.
I've been into the hard liquor this Christmas season. I try to stay away from it, but I went and my dad passed away 2 years ago on December 22nd, and I went and I had a little drink with him where his ashes are, and ashes will come. Cool. Yeah, so that was pretty good.
Good, man. That's awesome.
Wow, December 22nd. That's the same day D. Boone passed too. I think that's December 22nd. Anyway,
is it really? Because he was born on my birthday,
April 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, I could. I know more about D. Boone than I.
Auspicious, inauspicious. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to lessen your father's passing, Matthew, with that, but I just that date. It might even be Joe Strummer too. I don't know. Those two guys were very close to each other around that time.
Well,
anyway,
so that's cool. So I'm sorry, I ruined it.
Right. But no, you didn't ruin it. No, you just got to segue into what's in your glass.
Oh, something that is always celebrated by me, no matter what day.
Give me my ASMR right in the mic. Oh, baby.
Oh, that was a good one.
Oh, that was juicy as fuck.
Hey.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
So high register there. That was awesome.
Holy
Juicy
shit! Did you hear that widget?
Fuck.
Did you hear that?
Boy, did I hear it all the way down.
Jesus Christ on a bike.
That was a good one. In the body bag. Sorry.
And we're recording sometime after the last one, but I still have the companion beer to Santa's Sack here.
Oh my God! What?
And it's nice.
I'd forgotten about Santa Sack.
It's nice and thematic for tonight. It's the shaft because 3 out of 4, well, at least two explicitly refer to the shaft.
Yeah,
tonight.
they do. That's you know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and say that's thematically appropriate, Matthew.
Dick jokes abound.
Dick jokes abound.
Let me see.
This is a Russian Imperial Espresso Stout from Moon Underwater.
Yummy as fuck.
It does too. I can only pick out maybe 2. I don't know the third one, but I picked 2 that would have dick in it.
2 songs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 of these that have dick in it, but we'll find out. Mm-hmm. All right, well, there we go. A short one, but a good one. Let's all have a little toast, take a little sip, and then we'll let you know what our first matchup is in our re-inaugural episode. Here we are. We're not yet there, but you're all clearly in 2022. So welcome, 2022.
Oh, that's very good.
We have about 15 more episodes to go in round 1
of
this
God.
podcast, I think.
No, really?
Yeah. So we got a ways to go before we even reach out to all of you idiots for the People's Choice, bringing back in the losers into the mix.
You better iron this out, man. There's going to be fights. It's going to be
pretty brutal, but I'm ready.
Rioting in the streets.
But before we do that, I have to say, I'm real interested tonight to see both your votes and to hear what you have to say about it. But I don't know this is clear cut. I mean, I think maybe one of them is, but I don't know about this first one if it's clear cut.
Oh, one of them is fair. Yeah.
But one of these matchups is very
Yeah.
clear. But let's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
matchup number 1. Okay, this is interesting. We've got 2 songs off the same album. This happened a couple of times. They're not back to back, but they're not that far apart. So we're starting off with "I'm Dreaming" and "I Can't Wake Up" off "All Roads Lead to Ausfahrt," 2006, and off that same album, "Ashes," or as I always call it, "Ashes to Ashes." Can never just call it "Ashes," even though I think it's just "Ashes."
Too funky.
Too funky. That is also, of course, off of "All Roads Lead to Ausfahrt," 2006. So we're going to start off this week. Matthew is going to kick us off, and we're going to start with "I'm Dreaming" and "I Can't Wake Up." But let's all take a little nap.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Sorry.
You call this shit reality? I'm dreaming, I can't wake up. I doesn't turn on mine. I'm dreaming, I can't wake up. It's just an endless night. It's just an endless night. It's just an endless night.
All right.
They should have called it that. I'm sorry.
I'm falling and I can't wake
get
up.
I actually think
the floor all night.
just based on the thematic content of the song that he actually is referring to that.
There's a little bit.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Could be there.
I hadn't thought of it, but yeah, no, I mean it's a song about
Tracks a little bit.
television and distraction and how people don't live in the real world and don't experience reality as such. So I love I'll talk about the music. I love the snarly bass at the beginning and how
God, yeah.
it's pretty great. I like how they go through the few bars and then the words come in, and how there are another 2 wordless bars before the chorus comes in. And to me, it feels like it's you're anticipating that chorus, and it also sort of takes you out of the flow of the song just a little bit. To me, the song is pretty driving and pretty repetitive, but it's got sort of a little bit of a surreal quality in that it does take you in a couple of unexpected turns, I guess. Some humor in it. I mean, somebody phoned to tell me a call in came in while I was asleep. I heard the answering machine in my sleep. So, we just disassociate. We're all so distracted. We're watching TV or distracted by the internet. This song came out in 2006. So really before smartphones and before the tendrils sunk really deep into everybody.
Yeah.
So, it's possible that he was kind of heralding what was going on. I think there's a lot of callbacks to Television Man by the Talking Heads in this song. I mean, that one line, the world crashes into my living room, and everyone makes fun of, everyone puts the TV down, but we're just good friends. Like, it's this sort of unhealthy relationship. And it's definitely echoed. And I'm positive that, Rob was a Talking Heads fan, because I mean, there's echoes of it all through. Like,
I think we've heard that from Andy.
Baby, baby.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, of course. But
yes.
But yeah, I mean, just the lyrics from Television Man could fit right in this. I'm looking and I'm dreaming for the first time. I'm inside and I'm outside at the same time. And those are lyrics from Television Man. And also they were covered by an amazing version by Man or Astro Man as well. I think the X-ray eyes. Can you see through me? What distance are you being observed? Is you the observer? Can you see reality through me? Is there anything left of this person sitting watching television? It's just an endless night. It's almost like it's almost dismissive. It's just an endless night. It's nothing but an endless night. Not that that's scary in any way.
An endless night is scary?
Totally. Well, maybe not for you, nocturnal lady.
No, no.
It's an endless night, just that you can't actually experience or can't distinguish reality from what you're seeing on TV anymore. I mean, when someone choked my little boy, this is certainly a reference to one of these Canadian American shibboleths that the Kinder Surprise,
Yeah.
that Canadians can get and Americans cannot.
Oh, those candies.
Yeah, which you have.
I
She's
have.
going to pull it out.
Tom, I'm pulling it out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Tom bought it for me.
There it is.
I have everything. Tom bought that for me on this when a bunch of us went on this tour.
That's really cool.
At one of the places
You could probably get thrown in prison in the U.S. for having one of those or something.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
a
the
comment
only
on
thing
how ridiculous it is that
going on in prison for here.
someone choked my little boy. It was a plastic toy, etc. But it's like, are you upset that the child died, or were you afraid of the plastic toy? How ridiculous is that? And maybe you were right. Maybe it's you were justified. Dissociation. I remember the lessons that were taught to me on educational TV. I saw the walk on the moon, but I never left my room. I love how it's just so monotone. It's almost like a lack of affect in that. I love the melty voices when he it kind of goes off. I think it's the third chorus. Totally reminds me of that famous poster. That's a No Means No Gig poster by Tanks, that French artist.
Oh,
I don't know if
yeah.
you guys have seen that, the one where they're all like sort of green and zombies, and there's all this sort of smoke coming out of their
that's
mouths.
a great poster.
That's totally reminds me of that little piece of that song. For sure.
Kind of Frankenstein-y.
Yeah, I love that breakdown and the textural
That's a good
guitars
poster.
and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I have a question for you guys. If you go in the living room to sort of stare at something for a couple hours, what do you say there? You're going to watch
TV.
Ah, see? You guys put the stress on the second syllable. I put the stress on the first syllable, and so does Rob.
TV.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's a very American thing, I think.
It's television, not television. So I guess
it's
like,
television.
Is it?
No.
I gotta go watch television?
Hey, I'm going to visually see something on the telly.
On the TV. Yeah. The TV.
On the TV.
TV.
I want my MTV.
I want my
It's
not I want my MTV.
No. Yeah. Talk to Sting.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. He never left his room. His voice is kind of neutral, then kind of angry, and gets more desperate. It's pretty great. And I have to refer to the guitar in the first just an endless night. There's some very kind of triumphant sounding guitar fills in there, and they remind me of Rush a lot. But maybe that's just me.
All right.
No, I could hear that.
Yeah.
I think it tracks.
And I think I have to refer to one of their tour shirts that said, you call this shirt reality.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That's right. Shit.
I never got that one, and it's one of my favorite of their shirts, but it's also one of the ones I don't think I'd wear very often because out of context, it makes no fucking sense. Like, people would go like, what does that mean? Like, if you know the band, you're like, that's so great. But otherwise, it's like, what?
Yeah.
What is that?
Second only to I have bottles in my life.
Yeah.
Which refers to a single Battles t-shirt from their first tour.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't even know that one.
The band Battles. It said, I have battles in my life. See?
Yeah. Well, that's to keep out the riffraff.
Yeah.
Coming up to you with your shirt.
Yeah. But everyone in this podcast or listening to this podcast would love that shirt. So there you go.
For sure. Anyway, that's about all I got to say about I'm Dreaming.
Nice. All right. Malcolm in the Middle, Strangey. What you got?
Okay. Some lame-o words. Another farty bass intro that makes your hair stick out. It develops into, in my personal opinion, too much of a straightforward piece. Like a bit too predicted. I feel like a dick saying that, but the music seems a little bit too predicted. Don't get me wrong, the essence of the band is still very much there, but I guess I yearn for some apocalyptic shit. For example, John going a little bit more ape than he does in this piece. Oh no, am I out?
No, no.
Am I out?
No,
What's
you
the
got
face?
your. I
Hey,
just got a lot to say about that.
I don't know. He's not like going
Are you
nuts
kidding
to
me? Are you kidding me? Listen to this song again with just John. He is the lead instrument in this song. He's the lead instrument. He's all over the place in this.
I don't
Anyway,
know.
right.
Maybe I heard it wrong. Maybe I didn't have my drummer's ear on.
Yeah, you had that track turned off, I think.
No. All right, I don't want to say anymore because
No. I'm not trying to get.
No,
this is good when you and I disagree. This is
all right,
good.
Fine.
This is good entertainment.
All right, I'll finish my shit, but now I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now.
Don't be fucking. I'm sure most people actually agree with you more than they're going to agree with me.
I don't know. It just all right. It sounds a little straightforward, and it's not going ape enough for me. All right.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of passion in this song, and once again, Rob belts out some explosive cries during his lyrics. And everyone's favorite line in this, "You call this shit reality," is something worthy of a t-shirt. Yes, I know. A bumper sticker, and it's definitely a slogan. He nails the line too. Perfect. It's epic. This would be fantastic to see live, which I probably did many, many times. It's honest, cool, and thunderous.
Yeah, we saw this live together when we were in New York. That was that
and
tour.
And I saw it
with
Matthew too, and a bunch of us were doing that Grateful Dead shit.
Hey, so, all that.
All right, let me have it. Let me have it.
No, I'm not going to let you have it. That's all a very legitimate take. So, listen, first of all, I got to start up front and say, I can't be objective about this song. So I won't get too maudlin here, but listening to this in, I think it was 2007, like a year after this came out, was right when my daughter died, when she was born, died right shortly after she was born. And this song in particular is coded with that. Like, I just remember listening to the song over and over, and it was very, very cathartic to me. First of all, while it's not necessarily the heart of the theme, it does deal with the loss of children, right? There's this pain that's mediated through television and stuff, but it's a very direct, the pain he keeps talking about is the death of a child, right? And that's not really the theme of the piece. I think, Matthew, what you were talking about, and I'll talk about that a little bit too. But for some reason, this song was incredibly cathartic for me. So this is actually one of my favorite tracks on Ausfahrt, I think. And I think it's because, I don't think it's necessarily because of the music, although I do love the music. I think it's very driving. I think it's very passionate. And to me, I listened to it a bunch of times this time through, listening to the drumming. John is so subtle and so, there's such complication behind what he was putting into it. I felt like he's the lead instrument, and the rhythm section was the guitar and bass. John was the lead, and he was kind of all over the place in this really neat way, kind of in a way that reminded me of Mansion in the Sky, right? Like another song that it's kind of easy to overlook, but John's drumming on that is from another planet. And this felt like that to me too. I felt like John was incredibly detailed and not straightforward. He made the song not straightforward. If he had given it a more straightforward beat, it would be less remarkable to me. But content-wise, yeah, I totally agree, Matthew. I think this is about the mediation of television, and I think that tracks to now, right? We've just amped that up to 11 through the internet and through our smartphones, and how everything is mediated. And I think it's very purposeful that he uses these ideas of the death of a child, but always getting it through something mediated, whether it's a call coming in while he's asleep, or it's a toy that he saw on television. The most horrible thing that you can imagine as a human being is mediated through television, right? Like that's a very powerful way to sort of to get at this idea, to talk about this real world horror, but in this, I'm only seeing it through my dreams, through my sleep, or through the television. I have to give it to Rob for the way that he's able to sing the scan of, this skipping forward a little bit, but I remember everything they taught to me on educational TV. Like, you can't read that line and have it work very well, but he sings it so well. Like, it doesn't work well written on the page, but the way he crams all too many syllables into that one stanza, I really love it. I think the effect is brilliant. And this, this chorus, if I'm dreaming and I can't wake up, could be very literal in one sense. It's metaphorical in the sense of being mediated through media, but it's also, to Rob's roots. And there's other parts of this album, I think, that show this, and certainly his later work on the tour EPs. That's a basic idea of mysticism and Buddhism and Sufism. This idea that we're all asleep. We're asleep all the time. Right now, you and I are asleep. And we're not awake, and everything that we experience is mediated. We're always in a dream. It's all just an endless night. So there are these different levels, I think, that are layered in there. And there's certain a bit of that in here. And I love the line about the choking on the toy, because we really are inundated on the one hand with products and toys, and on the other hand, through television, of our fear, at least us in America, of our fear of dying from toys, right? Like, it's given with one hand and taking from the other. We're this drumbeat of fear and terror and panic is a constant because it captures our attention. Our attention is the new currency and has been for a long time. And fear is one of the best ways to capture that currency. And I think there's that that, to me, that's what the music really feels like in this anxiousness, this anxiety, this drumbeat that you can't escape. And I think it's not, to me, just the mediation of television. It's a mediation that has an underpinning of fear and terror that we're constantly being fed. And this idea of a toy, it's the most innocent thing in the world, but it's still often turned into something that is terrifying. It's scary. Certainly growing up in the 80s, lawn darts, all the rest of that. We were always like, had this thing of like, lawn darts or Pop Rocks and Coke, right? Like, there was always this thing of like
they were called lawn jarts with a J.
Were they really?
Were. Yeah.
I always thought it was lawn darts. I like lawn darts better. I like lawn sharts better, I think.
And then got the knockoff Kmart version.
Yeah, exactly.
And watch it.
A little bit of trivia that I think is probably intentional. I Am the Man with X-Ray Eyes. So The Man with X-Ray Eyes is a 1963 film by Roger Corman. And it's about a weird, Roger Corman, a weird schlock movie, brilliant B-movie director, writer. It's about a man who invents a substance that, when he puts it in his eyes, of course, allows him to see through objects. Of course, it has all this stuff about, seeing through people's clothes, all that kind of shit. But then it gets weirder and weirder and more surreal until by the end of the movie, the guy is seeing to the edges of reality. He's like seeing through reality. So, and that was right about the time that I think Rob would have been watching those kind of movies on afternoon TV, right? Like around 1963, the 60s. So I'm sure that line is coming up from him watching that B movie, and thematically, I think it really fits. One line that really stands out to me is that they killed my little boy and they showed it to me, and that was right next to the line about the moon landing, and that makes me think that he's referencing how the Vietnam War was the first war that was televised, where people could see the war and could see death and were witnessing war on their nightly news and on TV. And so people saw their kid, not literally probably, although maybe some people did see their kids killed on TV and called it reality, right? That changed war forever, and changed our perceptions of war forever. And the fact that he mentions it right next to the moon landing makes me think that he's probably talking about that. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, that line where everything breaks down and it takes me to that surreal space, and then Rob's clear clarion call of "you call this shit reality." That line, to me, that's the highlight of the whole album. Like, I think I just love that moment. His passion, his delivery. I'm not going to use my usual soporific of this song slays, because I'm retiring that forever.
Oh, come on.
But I think this song is really, really fucking good. And I think that the passion underneath it, the earnestness, this I feel like is sort of an earnest song in a way. What Rob is saying, I feel like he's pretty passionate about it and pretty artful about saying it. It's an ominous, menacing, rolling song that sort of flattens me every time I hear it. I absolutely love this song.
Flattened you in a good way.
In a good way. I think
Yeah,
I think it's one of the highlights to me of this album.
And as requested, we're gonna try and really hard as to call back to the actual title of the song that we're talking about.
That's right. This song is "I'm Dreaming and I Can't Wake Up." For those of you who've now taken a break because we talked too long, and you've gone out for a hike the next day or whatever.
What the fuck were we talking about? We're going to try to mention it at the top of each of our turns. Hope that will work for you guys. And we are, listening and trying to make our podcast better for you, the listener.
I could whisper it like the golf guy.
We'd meant to do that last round, and I totally fucking forgot. So,
me too.
There we go.
So just to put it out there, and maybe if people thank us for it in the Facebook comments or something like that, then maybe we'll remember to do it a little more often.
Yeah. Keep us honest.
We're trying.
We're trying our best.
I wonder if you can do it somewhere on the podcast, like when you look down on the screen. Could you have it show up? Or
we can do it like we can when someday I do put these on. When someday I do get these onto YouTube, if I have enough time to edit, I'll do something like that, but not on the apps.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if the app you could have a blinking thing.
Nah, unfortunately.
All
right. Let's go to round 2 here. Ashes, or ashes to ashes, as I like to say it. Let's hear a little bit of these ashes in my mouth.
I smell something burning. It's us. Sausage lips and easy tails. It's that sweet fried pork. Spitting on this bed. Spitting on this bed. You can't stem the blood and fire by squeezing it in your hand. I've got the desire. My hair's on fire.
So Ashes to Ashes from All Roads Lead to Oxford 2006. A song that I dismissed or sort of made fun of for a long time because they ripped off the bass line from Body Bag.
This is one.
Can we hey, let's take a pause. I'm going to prove it to you both. Can we just do that? Because we're all going to talk about it. You want to hear it a little bit? I've prepared a little evidence.
Shut the front door.
Yeah. And then Matthew, continue. Okay, here you go. Listen carefully.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Sausage lips and easy tails. It's that sweet fried pork. Spitting on this bed. Spitting on this bed. You can't stem the blood.
All right, nearly identical. Not identical, but nearly identical.
There's something different, but it is nearly identical. And the phrasing, there's some notes that are different.
Rings a little bit more, but
it's catchy.
I told you guys earlier that I was really wanting to get past this and this is actually a little bit of a callback to the subject matter from I'm Dreaming on me, because I started realizing what this song is actually about, and it might actually sort of be a sequel to Body Bag, which was very tongue in cheek, and this song isn't. It's quite direct once you start seeing it, and then I couldn't stop seeing it, and it is something that really chills me to my core when it was going on. It has to do with a serial killer in this area, and once I started to see the references to it and looked at the time when that all went down.
Lay this out, please. Holy shit!
Yeah. I'm not going to name. I don't believe in naming names of a serial killer or the particular details.
It's not a true crime podcast.
Refer to the details. I'm not. I do listen to true crime, and I do, listen to those podcasts and watch those shows, and I'm fascinated and all this sort of stuff. But this one was so close to home, and the more I found out about it, the more nauseated I was. And I'm really kind of sincerely giving you guys a little bit of a trigger warning for this. Like, don't look into this too much, because it is not something that I like knowing about. It's not something that I like that knowing about that people can do to other people. So the arrests happened in 2002. The convictions went down in 2007. 6 convictions for 6 murders, and confessed to 49.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like one of the most comprehensive murder investigations in Canadian history. And this is where I started coming down to it. Okay. The Ashes to Ashes comes from the Book of Common Prayer. We therefore commit this body to the ground, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Ensure and certain hope at the resurrection to eternal life. And it's just so tongue in cheek. It's just knowing the details that I know about this. And I'm really not intending to lead you guys. Like, honestly, it makes me nauseous to think about. This is like sausage lips and greasy tips. Refers to silicone lips and frosted tips. So what was going on in this particular case is prostitutes and drug addicted prostitutes, which there are plenty of in Vancouver, were hired and brought to this place where events were held. In the suburb outside of Vancouver. And there was organized crime involved. I'm not really sure if they were disposing of victims, but I think this is more just for their shits and giggles. And these women were tortured and murdered.
My God,
and butchered and fed to pigs. There are so many references to this. And, I was sort of like started out like, dust, maybe, ashes to ashes, maybe it refers to dust beneath my shoes and, all these sort of like existential things. But I have a feeling that Rob was just sort of finding out the details, as we all were around then, about these murders. Sweet fried pork, long pork, refers to the fact that it was on a pig farm.
Oh my God.
Can't stem the blood and fire by squeezing it in your hand, refers to the fact that masturbation isn't enough, and you got to get your kicks when you're sort of into this sort of stuff. It starts to get worse and worse and worse. And it's so chilling where he goes, this little piggy, the nursery rhyme, this little piggy had none, and all that sort of thing. Certainly a connection to the pig farmer. Can't stoke the coals without getting damaged.
Without a couple of third-degree burns.
I think that might refer to the fact that the cops were really kind of castigated for not looking into this sooner, because the victims were just prostitutes. They're women. They're poor women. They're addicted women. They're largely they're a large population of Aboriginal First Nations women. Nobody cared, and so there was sort of accusations that it was they sort of let it happen so that they could catch the dude, and maybe they didn't move as quickly as they could have.
Oh my God!
But yeah, I mean, it's just so brutal. The line about, back up, rake the coals to get the remains, back up the truck. We need to get our ashes hauled, and getting our ashes hauled.
Yep. It's a euphemism for getting laid.
It's not getting laid specifically. It's for having an orgasm that is induced by somebody else. So, and I think that sort of refers to the old view that, semen is a poison, if not vented, so that men, if they're not getting what they need to visit prostitutes. That sort of old kind of thing. But anyway, the equation of orgasm with murder, that just, you keep getting worse. And that's how they were getting their kicks by the end. It's just like torturing and killing these women. And it's not clear whether it was just the owner of the property or whether participants in these gatherings participated, or who knows, but it's just sick, and I don't like knowing about it, and I don't like thinking about it, and I don't think that I really don't. I want people to know that people are capable of this sort of stuff, but I don't want them to obsess about it because you look into it and it's bad. It's real bad, and it's far worse than I remember when I looked a couple of things up in it. But great song, chilling song. I will never look at it the same way, and neither will you probably.
No,
Sorry.
no. Well,
but anyway, it's fun to listen to. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
All right, Michelle,
Sorry,
follow
guys.
that.
no. Can I just not?
Well, no, we got to get your impression
No,
of the
because
song.
I mentioned how I
Wipe the
like the
slate
line.
clean.
I smell something burning. It's us. I don't want to say that now.
Well, no. It's totally true though.
But
It's just like
But I don't want to say it now because now I know what he was talking about.
I think it's just fully connected to the previous song. That it's something's burning and it's us. Like that we're dissociated from this stuff. And everybody around
All right, I'm gonna read
Vancouver
my thing
and everything like that. We're finding out the details. Just like the guy in the I'm dreaming and I can't wake up. I mean, this is bad and it's getting worse and you can't take your eyes off it, and it isn't real.
But see, I wrote that I thought
Until
it was hilarious. I wrote the line was hilarious. Do I have to
Well,
read
you
my
didn't know,
shit?
man.
No.
Well, but I think most of us felt that way if we don't have that interpretation in mind.
Yeah, but
So
now that I know it, why do I have to say all this?
Let me put a caveat here. I think Matthew's interpretation is an excellent one. I'd like to peg it as a possible interpretation. I don't know that yet that I'm fully sold that that's what this is about. I think it can track.
Well, why not?
And I think you could, because I think there's other things it could be about too. Like I have to go back and look at this song and read it with that interpretation, and then maybe I'll be convinced. I think it absolutely tracks everything he said, but this is Rob we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It could be about something completely other. So let's do a couple of different prismatic takes. And we'll leave it to the listener, but that was fucking intense.
Makes sense to me.
Definitely going back and re-listening to the song with that in mind, for better or worse.
Okay. All right.
Listener, we're talking about Ashes to Ashes.
Yes. I can't even talk. I'm just numb. I mean, I watch these kind of shows on TV, but that's fucked up, and that happens a lot. All right, I'm gonna read my paper. Nice crunchy opening, and it's a great angry rant that's pretty toe tapping. The line "I smell something burning, it's us" is completely hilarious and quite a great foundation for this doozy. The segues into the main sections have them pulling their usual silly sound effects that I bet are a bit fun for them to do. The riff that the song starts out with is really quite kicking, and I think they play around with it impressively. John uses that fantastic splash crash cymbal to a degree that it should have its own mention in the credits. It's a banger of a tune and a good one on this album, and it's one of the best tracks on this album, I think.
Wow! All right, this is what I love about this. How different you and I feel about this sometimes. No, it's because we're listening in different ways. Like I'll be completely honest, and I'm going to lose some people here. This is probably one of my least favorite tracks on this album. I just don't like this song. I just don't. I mean, I think it's a good song. So this is just my subjective opinion. I think it's a driving, fun thrasher of a song. Great bass work. I just don't like it. I never have since the first time I heard it. I'm like, it just doesn't do anything for me. This is one of the few No Means No songs. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. I don't buy it. I don't care. It feels like Predators in a trucker's hat to me somehow.
Oh my God.
I don't know. And that's not like
trucker's hat.
Yeah. And so that's not to take away from it because it's very artful. I actually really love this new interpretation. I want to go back and look at it and listen to it that way.
There's a lot of mention of pigs, though. So
as
I think
something
he's onto something, man.
Oh no, I agree. And it's something very specific. And listen, I'm not like, this is me. Like, I'm not saying the song's bad. The song's clearly kicks ass. I mean, I feel bad right now because I know that one of the Invasives said it was their like favorite No Means No song. And I remember when I think it was Byron, and when he said that, I was like, oh, hey, I don't want to say anything.
But
So
think
I
you
know there are
just did.
people.
You just
I
said
know.
something.
No, I just meant at that time when we were doing. I didn't want to
kidding.
tip my hand.
I know.
So it's not. This is just me. It's completely subjective. And I'm actually glad about that because I normally gush about pretty much every song except for "Beat on the Brat." Fuck that song.
Yep.
But
Yep.
so it's good. I think it's good that there are songs that I don't like, much like you kind of with the previous one. And so I think it's interesting that on Ausfart we have this sort of completely different feeling about these two songs. That one was kind of the highlight for me. Sounds like it's one of the low points for you. This one's a highlight for you, and it's one of the low points for me. I think that's
right. Yeah.
it's really interesting. So I'll be honest, I don't have a ton to say about this song, and I think that anything I would say about it, I want to completely reinterpret it based on what you said, Matthew, because I think that sort of specific storytelling is something that is very Rob,
Oh,
or very
yeah.
possible for
Yep.
Rob.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of that tracks. I do think you could look at it another way as just sort of the urge towards violence and post-capitalism and industrialism and just this feeling of, to me, it really felt MAGA. It felt like that, like I'm celebrating violence I'm celebrating violence in the world of the fucking, and not literally, but that kind of backyard barbecue, like, fuck yeah, let's do it sort of way. But I don't know. It feels like, yeah, I think you're right. I think there's something more
That
specific.
was no backyard barbecue.
Oh no, I think it's the movement of just for satisfaction.
Yeah.
From sex to violence, or the conflation of sex
Yeah,
and violence.
yeah.
And
another song coming up later in this podcast. It's exactly about that.
Exactly. Maybe a little bit more on the nose. So I did try to listen very carefully to the interstitials. I cannot fucking make out the full phrases of what they're saying. There's Tom in the background saying something I'm sure is fucking hilarious. His voice is hilarious, and I cannot make out what he's saying. I tried out 100 times. So if any of you out there who have made out what he's saying, let us know, because I'd be really interested to know what that is.
Does anyone speak Tom?
So I'm not doing the song justice, but I can't, because I just don't feel it. I don't feel this song. And so I don't care enough to dive into it and talk about it. It's kind of a body bag knockoff. I heard that the first time. And I like that body bag riff way better when it's slow and greasy. I mean, I think it sounds great and it's thrashy, but that particular riff I think was made to be a nice, slow, greasy riff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for me as well. It feels a little recycled here. The whole song, and this is me sounding like I'm trash talking. I don't mean to, but this song to me feels like a song where the music was written and then lyrics were come up with it, but they don't really go together real well.
Okay.
They don't have that synergy that I often feel. Like, I felt the synergy in the previous song. That felt like there was passion underneath it that connected with it. I didn't feel that so much with this, but there you go. What are you going to do? Sue me.
Yeah. The little interstitials, I started thinking, based on the fact that, my interpretation, which I'm not going to be able to not think of now.
No, of course not. Me neither. Ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever.
Right.
But these were like raves. They were like huge parties or Hell's Angel banger parties. And I think it's just like, oh, did you? Maybe? It's like people muttering to each other at like a...
There was a got to get the children out. I know that's the one thing I heard. Yeah.
At an event where everyone's having fun, everyone's, drinking, rock and roll and having a good time. And then there's that other shit going on at the same time. And again, it's that scary conflation. Like some line is being crossed and not, that is a Rubicon.
I'll say this: if this song is not about that, it should be, and it makes the song better for me. So I'm gonna have that as my canonical as my canon now for this song, because it elevates me a bit from where I put it before. Still
Matthew,
not super high.
You should invite Rob over and just turn the camera over and show Rob in the corner.
Right.
Be like, let's see what this guy has to say about it.
Let's see what Rob has to say. No, we'll never get Rob.
Bullshit.
All right, guys. Well, that was our first round, and now we have to come up for a vote. And I feel pretty sure where this is going.
Let me just say something real quick.
Rob's in the corner. Rob's here.
Corner. Strangey's in the middle, and Strangey has requested to be in the middle, and I realize that that's fine with me. That's awesome. But that means that Strangey never gets to break a tie.
Agreed.
So Strangey came up with the thing that even out of the order, it goes me, Strangey, Jordan, that maybe we should, Jordan and I vote, and then Strangey break the tie once in a while. Not always, but sometimes.
Yep. Let's do it. Matthew, you're up. What's your vote, sir?
Oh, wow. No pressure.
This is a hard one, man. And I'm coming back to a lot of the, I've glossed over Ausfart. I gotta admit. And when I go back and read the lyrics, the music doesn't do as much for me as a lot of older No Means No, but the lyrics fucking spot on a lot of the time. And neither of these songs really stood out to me before, but I think just of the utter visceral reaction that I have had because of that story, I gotta give it to Ashes, just because of the power that can just, yeah. I didn't want to think about that shit, and the song made me, and that is just a testament to the power of this sort of music and Rob's lyrics. And it is not explicit, but to me it is unequivocal. And so yeah, gotta give it to Ashes to Ashes.
Nice. Well, I am not going to give it to Ashes because I still don't like that song. So I'm giving it to I'm Dreaming I Can't Wake Up, which I think is a banger song. And I'm just going to say that because it's going bye-bye for sure. So goodbye, Alvita. I love you, and I'll never forget you.
Come on, that song helped you in a time of need and something you connected with.
Now, I'll say though that it's not like I'm not that sad about it. It's not like one of my top songs.
I know, but it helped you.
But I'm
and you
glad
connected
to give
with
it a sympathy vote.
It's not sympathy. It's from the heart. And
no, it is. It is. It is absolutely from the heart. And now you get to break the tie.
Can you stop smiling?
No, I know. We know.
All right, I'm going to end the suspense. I am voting for Ashes to Ashes.
Womp, womp, womp. Ashes to Ashes goes through, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Fists are pumping around the podverse. There's a bear in the background over Matthew's shoulder, unaccountably. Bears are related to pigs, and there are pigs in the song, so that's very appropriate.
Above the crowd.
Right. Round one in the can. Ooh, the can full of ash.
Sorry, everybody.
No, honestly, hey, I'm not sorry that you said if you're fucking rock, man.
If you're of a sensitive constitution, like this is, I am not a particularly sensitive constitution when it comes to that sort of stuff, and like that's something I wish I could unknow. Honestly,
this whole episode needs a trigger warning because we're not heading into two like songs that are any more. Well, at least one of them any more up yo ho ho skate sort of songs. To quote our favorite live album. All right, so before we dive into our round two, though, as always, listener, we're going to entreat you.
Oh yeah.
To let us know how you feel about this band. Matthew, why don't you give us a little spiel before I throw out those digits?
Yeah. We got I don't have the number memorized, so you're gonna have to.
I'll do that after you give a little spiel.
So you can still send us to no means nothing podcast at gmail.com. You can send us the 3 questions is just a suggestion. What no means no means to you, how your no means no origin story went down, and maybe a particular anecdote to do with you and no means no in your past, your present, or potentially your future. And send it on in. We need all kinds of material. We now have a phone number. You can send it or call it. Sadly, it cuts off after 3 minutes, but call as many times as you want, I guess. I don't know if there's a limit, but it will cut you off at 3 minutes. So if you have a long story, maybe do it one of those questions at a time. Right. Something like that.
Yes, and indeed, our submissioner from this week did just that. He called us.
We apologize to our growing pains, our technical growing pains, but we're trying again.
We're novices. What are you going to do? We're doing our best, folks. That number to call us at, which we have not yet posted on the socials officially, someone outed us, which I was glad about. Thank you, dear listener. You know who you are. But we've been saying it on the pod now for a couple of weeks, so fuck it. We just got to get a graphic out there for it. But the number is...
I'll do it. Fine. Fuck.
I need a graphic for it. The number is 415-493-8630. And we have had a intrepid listener, Brian Nothing, sent us in a recording, which I'm about to play, and a number of spam calls about my car's warranty. So that's wonderful, and I'm not going to be playing those. But Brian Nothing did record in, and as Matthew mentioned, it cuts after 3 minutes. Please feel free to call back as many times as you want. Brian recorded twice, so you're going to hear Brian. I stitched it together in the middle. And then the end of his
he was
story,
about to tell a story, and I was like, I messaged him back and like, yeah, you got to continue because I need to know that end of that story, dude.
It's like the
but then
Breakfast Club.
unfortunately, this probably should have been 3 calls because the end of I clipped off about an extra 5 seconds of his call because he was in the middle of a sentence and it cut him off. So my apologies to you, Brian. If you got more to say, calls back. But what we did hear from Brian was excellent, and he covered kind of all 3 questions. So we're going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
Hey guys, my name is Brian Nothing. My no means no origin story. I'll just start it with, I was living in a boys' home. I had kind of like, maybe like 2 or 3 years of my life when I was like 11. No, probably like 12. Can I start this over? So when I was like 12 years old, I go to like a runaway shelter in a boys' home. And, so anyways, I'm sitting around a boys' home. And it was like on our break, and there was like 10 of us. We're all kind of into like punk rock and stuff like that. And we were listening to, I think it was KNON, a community radio station in Dallas, Texas. And we were listening to it, and all of a sudden it was a pledge drive. And they're like, hey, this is from Alternate Tentacles. This is No Means No. And we're all like, what the hell? And it was Tired of Waiting.
Oh, baby.
And we just all like, jaws jumped around, and I was like, oh, I'm pledging, I'm getting it. So I got it. And I got this most beautiful vinyl of No Means No. And I remember we all gathered around and I played it. I remember a dude, like, I was blown away. Like, when I heard it. Like,
yeah, you were.
I remember Big Dick just like, what the fuck? And this dude with like an SOD, Stormtroopers of Death shirt, like just kind of shrugged his shoulders, like, oh, whatever. That dude, like a couple years later, was like, notorious racial murder in Dallas, and I never saw the dude again, but he was my roommate at the time. Really weird. So anyways, a couple years later, maybe a year and a half later, I see a flyer that they're coming. I've never been to a punk rock show. I've been to a couple like bigger goofball shows or whatever, stadium shows, but nothing like punk rock or gritty. They played a place called Slip Disc. I didn't know anybody there. I'm from a little like rodeo town called Mesquite, and it was in Dallas. And I get there, there's all these like punk rockers, pretty sketchy place, and it was packed, kind of rowdy, and so I didn't know what to do. I just kind of hurtled by the band, and when the band went on, Rob was just like, hey, you mind sitting on stage, kind of protect my mic, blocking me from them? I was like, sure. And man, that was a life-changing night for me. It was just like being right between them, right by the bass drum, being right under them, and just being floored. Like, and never being a bouncer before, and having just getting spit on and beaten, but his mic was fine, and it was awesome. Later, I formed a band with some of those kids that like stamped my hands that evening that I met and started talking to me. We were other No Means No fans. We were called You're in Trouble. We were a band for a long time. It was really fun. All right, so after that, second time I saw him, I was supposed to go see him. Travel with a bunch of friends, and we were going to go all around and see him on the Mr. Happy tour. My grandpa got sick. So I went and saw my grandpa, like outside of Austin, and my grandpa passed away. And, hey guys, this is, part 2. So I had planned, just Brian Nothing again, I had planned to travel all around Texas to see him with a bunch of friends on the Mr. Happy tour, but instead, my grandpa got really sick. So, I sat there on my grandpa's deathbed for a couple of days. My grandpa passed away. A few hours later, I found myself on a cab going to Austin, Texas, like an hour away or whatever. And I get to the club early, and I start playing Galaga. And maybe after half an hour, Rob pops out and just starts playing pinball right next to me. And I could have said something. I just kind of froze up. It was a real heavy day, and I was just kind of happy. I was just like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. They're here. Like, they made it. They're from Canada. They're here. They're in Texas. So I was super happy. And they opened up with Long Days. And it was just super heavy. I mean, just super emotional. I have a lot of emotional attached to this band. When I was 7 years old, my stepdad died. He was going to be my stepdad, my mom's fiance. Anyways, he died of a heart attack right next to me. We were watching like a basketball game at a stadium, and it was really weird. Had a massive heart attack between me and my mom. Really weird. So his name was Bob. So ever since I got like the day everything became nothing, and I saw the reference of Bob, like it's weird being a Bob, but I'll get used to it. I have to.
Oh wow.
I take that really heavy, and I've really taken that heavy my whole life, and I take all their stuff really heavy, and it's just funny. Even the long days. The other night I was watching some No Means No footage, and there's a video from emos, and that pops up, and my friend who's filming that is no longer alive, and it's really heavy. So there's a lot of emotion attached to this band. So I finally did get to talk to Rob. Many years later, I've probably seen them probably like 15 times, and they always stayed with my friends Rick and Lisa in Texas, and then also my friend Tim Cole. And so I was just always in after parties, and I was in a band called You're in Trouble with some of the guys that I had formed or that I had met, like other No Means No fans or whatever. And we ended up being friends and playing shows for like Removal and a lot of shows with Victim Family. Did a little small tour together with them. I played with a lot of like Texas bands and stuff like that, but that just really sticks out because there were times just all of us got in a bunch of no conversations. I'd wake up in the morning from tour and see like Ralph on the couch just reading lyrics and just laughing, and I don't know, it's just really cool. Like there's a fun circle around them. I was just thinking now, being kind of an older man, like I don't know, I'm almost 50, and I'm like, well, if I've ever had role models, God, they're probably the best role models, and even in hard times.
All right, that was, and again, Brian had a little bit more to say after that, but it got cut off. But listen, I mean, first of all, Brian, thank you for calling in. What a great fucking story! What an honor for us to hear these stories from you guys. For us to
intimate
be able to,
shit here.
For us to be able to put out the stories of all of you really makes me feel the community that this band has created, right? And that to me is one of the most special things about it. So thank you for that.
It is remarkable to me how the myriad ways in which No Means No has genuinely helped people.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for sharing those sorts of stories.
Yes,
I mean,
for sure.
I think we're all the three of us have our own connections with it, and it's certainly doesn't. It really, really deepens my appreciation of the band. Just that they can touch people in so many different ways, but in similar ways at the same time. Yeah. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Deeply. I'm glad you weathered all that, Brian. And
hell yeah.
Yeah, they're here to leave the message.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time, man, and reaching out. Really means a lot to us. Yeah. All right. So, listen, everyone, do it. Write us in. Send us a note. Send us an audio file. Call us in. We want to hear from you. We really do. It thrills us, and I think everyone likes to hear from the community as well. So just do it.
No Means Nothing podcast at gmail.com or... number?
The number is 415-493-8630. Press 1. Thank you. All right, round 2. A pretty intense pairing here. We've got the first song, Sex is Philosophy, off Generic Shame, 2001. Well known to be extra takes off of the recording of One, and reaching way back deep in the annals.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait. Let's not give away the game yet.
I didn't. I just said, oh yeah.
Well, that's how I feel too. Red Devil, off of Mama, 1982. So 2 songs.
40 fucking years next year. It's just about New Year's. It's like December 28th they're recording right now.
Fucking crazy.
Goddamn.
Is that true?
40 fucking
December
years.
December 28th that came out?
Fucking crazy.
No. I'm just saying it's December 28th right now, 2021. We're recording this. It's probably coming out February something, 2022. And I don't know when Mama came out, but 2022 is the year in which Mama is 40 fucking years old. That's
I think it was
bizarre.
78. Was it 78? I don't know.
Not Mama. Mama was the Fear, Anger, Betrayal, Hatred, I think.
Not the Mama.
All right, but anyway, we're gonna not go back that far first. We're gonna talk about sexist philosophy. I'm gonna kick us off on this one, and first we're going to type in that address into Pornhub and see what we get.
It really was a shame. I'd seen her around, but I never knew her the back. Security cameras caught this violent act. She come willingly to him. She only wanted to be his friend. Well, he ripped away her shirt. He called her a whore, said that she was dead. She was bleeding for her life. She was screaming, why? Grabbed her by her hair. He pushed her down and he kicked her there. She couldn't believe her eyes.
All right.
What? Did you just? I don't even know.
My stupid leader. It didn't make any sense. Don't worry about it.
No,
Just
it totally
move on.
was awesome.
All right. So sexist philosophy.
Pornhub?
All right. So I'll be upfront. Like I'm bookending that wonderful
I'm having another
submission. I think you need it. That wonderful submission by Brian with another song. This is not one of my favorites, right? Like we've played No Big Surprise off this EP, which I fucking loved. I was the only one to vote for it, by the way, for listeners. I love that song. It could have been the only song on that EP, and I would have been happy. I don't hate this song. I actually maybe like it more than Ashes to Ashes, but it's not. I have stuff to say about it, but I'm not enthusiastic about it because I don't. This is a B-side, a good quality B-side, but a B-side nonetheless. It deserves to be a B-side for sure. I'll also say that a little bit, I kind of have a hard time pinning down the point of view of this song. And what I mean by that is I'm not sure if this is a song in the vein of I've Got a Gun, which is very specific to a type of person and a slice of humanity, or if this is a larger comment on pornography as a whole. And probably both. It can be both. And yes, and sort of thing. I will say, just as a little aside, so this came out in 2001. We're now way the fuck past that, 2022, for all you listeners out there. I do want to just take a little step aside and say how fucking most of our listeners are about the same age we are, meaning pushing 50 or above or a little bit below. So
yeah, a teenager in Ohio. Hi.
Yeah. How fucking crazy is it that we really are in the era of how ubiquitous pornography is? It really is weird. I don't want to go too far off into it, but that's way, 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 way different than when we were kids, or even in 2001. It was not easy to get. No. Actually, I'm just saying that, like, I'm not a prude by any respect, but I think it does bear some analysis.
You guys had to work hard to get yours.
It does. It does bear some analysis about how easy it is to access all the porn of all kinds. And I think, frankly, that's right in No Means No's wheelhouse. I think that's something that they're... What is she laughing about?
No, he exclaimed, "Oh, dude!" Like he had some like story of like walking 6 miles or some shit.
No, it's a great with
kind of do. I was going to tell it maybe.
No, it's all like I remember like secreting away like a fucking Victoria's Secret catalog, which was like, "Oh, this is hot shit." Like now, that's absolutely nothing. A kid would see that and toss it in the junk mail because it means nothing anymore, right?
No. I was just in Victoria for a week, and I'm sorry that, or for 5 days. I'm sorry that we didn't get to record while I was there. It was kind of emotional time for me over there. But walking up and down alleys in my old neighborhood, it's like there's alleys, as many alleys as there are front streets. And I remember looking at these bushes, like, oh, there used to be a fucking penthouse forum, like penthouse letters, I should say, under there. It's like not even any fucking pictures, and we were all so excited. It was just like this rain-stained, like fucking shitty.
It wasn't rain, I'll tell you that. It was not rain.
Yeah, no, there were a couple instances walking up and down these alleys.
Same.
Where I cast my like that laurel bush used to contain like a partial porno in like 1983.
No, I remember one of my friend Russell, right, who I've talked about on the pod before. His older sister passed down to us a porno tape that we'd never like. It was like, and we all sat around as a group watching this porno tape because like that was the only chance we had to see it. It was like, that's so fucking weird. You never do that now. But anyway,
I got no stories for you.
It does bear some introspection that we live in an era of ubiquity. And I think this song, even though it's kind of ahead of its time, if I'm looking at it on the broader scale and not as a specific story about a person, I think really talks about that. And I think it's really interesting, this chorus, sexist philosophy and sexist politics, sex, politics, philosophy, or sexist philosophy, philosophy of sex. fucked all that up. It's like on one side, it's kind of maybe lampooning that sort of pop psychological notion that everything equates to sex, that you can boil everything down to sex, that at root, everything's just about sex, which is sort of a Freudian notion. But on the other hand, it's sort of really intimating that sexuality and sex does underpin a lot of what we take so seriously. So it's a really, I don't know, it kind of is a stick with two ends there. And again, I'm not really certain whether Rob's talking about society in general. I think he is to a degree, and also really focusing on an individual that he's sort of following through this whole story that he's talking about a very empty and broken person who is clearly already damaged anyway, but that pornography serves as a key to unlock the deepest depravities in this person. There's a lot of nice little turns of phrase of like, for every locked door, there's a secret key, flip on the switch, right? Like there's these things of how some of the darker impulses that this person gives action to by the end, by actually raping and killing somebody, is unlocked by their addiction to these dark forms of pornography that they're watching and the objectification that they're getting through watching this pornography. There's very much this sense of the actress, the porn actress, is just an object, and not just an object for lust, an object for hatred, an object for violence, an object for the darkest impulses. So I don't know that Rob would necessarily be saying that that is what pornography's influence is in general, but he's certainly saying that for some people who have something really dark in them, this is a key that might unlock something really dark. That said, I don't know that there's more serial killers now of that variety than there were in the 70s, which is a really big time for that kind of shit. So I don't know that that really tracks. I don't know that pornography actually gives rise or unlocks more of the dark impulses that have been extant in humanity. These are impulses that have always been there. So I'm not sure. That's what I mean about how I don't really quite know how I come down on the point of view of this song. As an individual, like I've Got a Gun, I think it tells a really dark, kind of compelling but icky story about somebody that's very dark and icky by the end when it gets really specific and it's no longer just sort of abstract. It really is about one individual as a child, really like a teenager, killing a girl, maybe raping a girl behind the schoolyard. And that's a very dark song. The song makes me feel icky. I don't like listening to it that much because it's a dark, icky song. I guess now, like Ashes to Ashes will be for me forever after. Mm-hmm. This was a little more on the nose.
My bad.
No, that's all right.
No,
it's good, man. At least
bad.
listen, let me be a little meta here. At least Ashes to Ashes, were I to listen to that way, is more artful in the sense that it's less obvious. It's less on the nose. This song is incredibly on the nose, even for Rob. It doesn't hide much. It doesn't prevaricate much. It doesn't analogize much. It's pretty direct and good on its face for that, but it's really direct. And I don't know. This song feels bad, and I don't mean bad like in quality. It just it makes me. I feel icky when that's just a dumb word, but I don't feel good after listening to this song. And musically, maybe how you felt about I'm Dreaming, Michelle. This song feels musically unremarkable to me. Like I don't know. Like the drumming is straightforward. It doesn't have
right.
It's very interesting drumming. The bass line is it's all right. I don't know. The whole thing just feels a little unremarkable. Nothing about it stands out to me that much. I feel like the lyrics and content is a little on the nose. It's a little icky. So it's not a bad song. Certainly not up there in the pantheon for me though. All right, Michelle, where are you at?
Okay, so I was waiting for James Hetfield to start singing in on this one. Come on. Once Rob comes in, it sounds a little bit... Come on, don't you agree? Shit.
Yeah, no, I just flipped my hair because somebody called me James Hetfield the other day.
Nice, I could see it.
No, you look more like Jesus than James Hetfield. Come on.
He's Jesus Hatfield.
The Hatfields in the... All right. Once Rob starts singing, it sounds a bit cheeky with the sex lines. Isn't he kind of singing them a little bit like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, they're very not tongue in cheek, but very like
gross. It's like
it's icky.
It is icky. Yeah, icky. What?
Yeah, his tongue's in the cup. Oh shit.
What?
Sorry,
is this
that's a reference to the Nick song. That's a reference to the Nick song.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else with a cup.
No,
Anyways,
no.
we're not gonna
Well,
talk
it
about
is.
that.
It is.
No,
It is about
no,
that.
Yeah,
but
actually.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
No, because that. All right.
No,
I
it
personally like the ominous music in the verses rather than the chorus parts, but maybe that's because I'm a negative Nelly most of the time. The layered guitar and bass line is heavy and crushing, but it's too organized compared to the stuff that grabs my ear. Kind of what you were talking about, Jordan, with like it being a little too structured and all the same. Rob once again sings for his supper and nails his delivery, but it's no who fucked who or no fucking. And I suppose after delivering songs like that, he can sing about sex any way he'd like, actually. But yeah, that's it.
All right. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew, bring us home.
Both of these songs say cock in them.
By the way, listener, we're talking about sex is philosophy. Just a reminder. Sex is
Roosters.
philosophy.
From Generic Shame 2001.
Oh, we gotta have a better way to do this.
We got to have a better way. We'll figure it out, everybody. We'll figure it out.
I love the beginning of this song. And then it starts reminding me of Tool.
Oh,
Which isn't no, it's not the worst thing in the world.
they have
I
good
like a
videos.
lot of Tool. I don't like some Tool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I thought tool was an insult. You're being a tool. Like that's
Well, it can
not
be,
good.
but it's also a band that a lot of people really
Well,
like.
and I use tools, so I like them too. But all right, anyways, Matthew, go on.
Yeah,
Matthew, sorry.
we're crabbing him, basically.
Yeah,
We're
we
giving him the
crab.
Sorry about that, Matthew.
He got grabbed.
I wrote myself a little note here. You know, it certainly is a comment on pornography, and how, you know, maybe it is unlocking that, you know, if somebody doesn't have access to actual sex, then they don't know what that's about, that it's about you and one or more other people who have feelings and opinions and, you know, goals and things that they want to do to you and get done by you. But when it's all objectified, then, you know, it's all coming out of you. All those desires, all of those, everything is coming out of you. So if you don't have any of the opportunity, and, you know, at the risk of sounding like a incel
apologist.
No, just, yeah. Maybe it is a fucking problem, though. We don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the source of the problem, that the othering of the other sex and other gender, and or whatever you're attracted to, I should say. You know, turn it on, flip the switch. She's not a person. She's just a bitch. What the
Terrible.
I'd never. It's so, yeah, and it totally harks back to ashes to ashes.
Yeah.
Where that is the fulfillment of those violent fantasies.
Yeah.
Those people actually did it.
Ugh.
You know, it might have even been an attraction. Yeah.
People
Yeah,
suck,
and-
man.
Yeah, no, it the only joy that comes to me is the perfect execution of my cruelty. It's just, again, this the conflation of sex and violence.
Yeah.
That, you know, you go beyond it, and it's all about control. It's all about the singular person. It isn't anything to do. It's a subject and object. It's not about, you know, an interaction. That it is a beast, and that we all contain a beast. And, you know, you just talk about,
Beast in me.
and I don't want to hark back to that other song, Ashes to Ashes, too much, but you know, the main perpetrator, he had a fucked up childhood, and again, this is, you know, he'd been in trouble from an early age, a problem child full of hate and rage.
Yeah.
So, you know, nature nurture. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think the song is probably a little more specific in that way, like talking about a slice of humanity in a way.
But and humanity and phenomena and everything like that, and I'm glad that neither of you came up with this, because it makes me sound real clever when I notice that there is a callback to For What It's Worth by Buffalo Springfield.
Wouldn't have gone straight over my
Wow.
head. Lay it on us.
You know, stop children, what's that sound? Everybody goes, what's going down? It's like one of the primary anti-war songs from the Vietnam era, where people are like opening your eyes to actually what's what's actually going on. But I mean, he's cribbed lyrics directly out of the song.
Really? What lyrics?
Something's happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear.
Oh, that is from that song.
Good
Something's
one.
happening
Nice.
here.
And I think that, maybe Rob was sort of thinking, the ubiquity of pornography. Maybe this is the song by Buffalo Springfield was about how the manipulation by media in order to make everybody afraid of everybody else. And maybe it's the same kind of thing. Like it's pornography or the ubiquity of pornography. I don't have a problem with pornography per se, as long as there's, the power dynamic is the problem.
It's complicated. It's complicated. I think I want to just say that's what I was trying to say earlier in my comment. Is I think it's worth really fucking looking at it. I'm not saying being a prude about it, but I also think you got to really fucking look at it. It's way different. It's probably one of the biggest societal changes that we just sort of wave away, but it's fucking huge. Anyway.
And that's, I think, what maybe Rob was referring to.
Agreed.
Where, and just what you referred to earlier, where the Vietnam War was the first televised war.
Yeah.
And, maybe there is a societal shift happening.
Now you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, goes back to Ashes to Ashes, where that was the fulfillment of this shit.
That's the horrible extension of that, right? Like, the absolute horrible natural extension of that. Or not natural, but fuck. Oof.
Yeah. But yeah, in three of the songs, I was going to bring this up in Red Devil, but my hair is on fire, my ass is burning, my temperature's beginning to rise, you're burning, the blush of lust. Those are from three different songs in tonight's episode, where sex and violence are conflated.
Whoa! What are you going to do for the graphic on this one, Matthew? Jesus Christ!
Yeah. Just type in the URL at Pornhub.
No,
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Type in "sexist philosophy" in Pornhub, like I said, and see what comes up.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that.
Well, the cocker and knife. Obviously, that is
that's
the
about
nub
as on the
of
nose
song.
as you can get. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I do like musically. They love that in the towards the end where it starts to fall apart a little bit. Or not fall apart, just sort of separates. The counterpoint, the bass and guitar at the end with the drums are really sort of thunderous drums in the back. It's really, really awesome. And then right at the end, are you getting what you see? Are you getting what you need? Is that a callback to stock taking?
Right. And is this the
Are you
business?
getting what you want? Or are you getting what you need?
Is this the business of pornography? Which is a kind of a nice final statement on that. Everything we've been talking
No,
about.
it's from Silence of the Lambs when he says we covet what we see.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Nice.
Well, there you go. And that's the thing.
No,
and
I
stock
just
taking
watched
is about,
it the other day. That's why.
And he's even told us that it was a song about, sort of the problems of love and are you getting what you want? Are you getting what you need? And that is about, a lot of those early songs are about consent and how you feel these things but don't take them. And this is like, it isn't interactive anymore. It's like, are you getting what you see? Are you getting what you need? It's not what you want, it's what you see. And you see it, and do you want it, or do you just need it because you see it? Ugh, gross.
Oh, well.
Right. Gross.
You've just described society.
So I'm going to have to go take a shower before we dive into the next song. That's all I'm going to say.
So yeah, this again, thinky song, thinky stinky song.
All right, let's.
Wow.
What to me is going to be a wonderful palate cleanser. We are now going to dive into Red Devil off of Mama, 1982. We're going to listen to a little clip, but listener, what I want you to do is go onto YouTube right now before you listen to this, and I want you to watch, find the YouTube Red Devil that is synced to a great bunch of silent movie clips of old fucking devil shit from silent movies. It's absolutely brilliant. Go do that.
Would you like me
before
to
we
tell
play
you
it.
the name of the video? Because I wrote it down
Yes,
in my
please
notes.
do. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to take your thunder. Please do.
You just totally did.
Sorry.
But I'm glad you I'm glad you have that thunder because let me say, a very kind soul, this is the end of my notes, I'll read it again though. A very kind soul made a video where he put this song to an old silent movie, and it's called Satan in Prison versus No Means No. That's the name of the video.
So go listen to that.
Go
listen. It's so good.
Unbelievable.
It is so good. Go listen to that. Draw a pentagram on the floor.
Yeah.
And listen to a little bit of this.
Raise your hand and kill. This is my will. Raise your hand and kill. This is my will. Endless flight, I arise from the muck, a prince of cups, it bows to my kill, and this is my will, arise up and kill, and this is my will, red dog. Up in the muck, I come to the cup, rise up and kill, and this is my will, and this is my will, arise up and kill, red dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
This might be one of the best No Means No songs. This
Totally
fucking
agree.
song is so good.
Yes,
I
it
have
is.
not had a lot of passion thus far in this episode. That is going to change. I've listened to this song a billion trillion times in these last 3 weeks. And I
Ems
can
is cocking it.
I can listen to this song a million times more. I cannot believe this song is 40 years old. It is insanely good. I
Yeah.
think it is absolutely the best song on Mama. That's my just opinion. Of course, I know that. But I think this song it shows everything they were going to become.
The song
It shows-
slays.
It does slay. It slays everything. This song is so fucking good. And for me personally, I did crack this song this time. I had ideas of what it meant before, but this time I think I cracked it for myself, or
Watch the video.
at least the underlying symbology. Yep, it's cock and cock. No.
What the hell?
So first of all, another little bit of Jordan's nostalgia corner going back into the background. We all know I went to theater school. I did use this song. I did once in a class, in a movements class where we had to do like interpretive movement pieces, which was a great fucking class. I spliced together Wounded Knee off of Pork Soda, which is a great instrumental. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
And then I did that to start, and then I put in Red Devil at the end, and I mocked a child sacrifice in my piece. So I did this song, and the child was my girlfriend at the time's stuffed Winnie the Pooh bear swaddled up to look like a kid.
My God.
And I did this. I had this like white mask and this red mask, and it was fucking great. It was fucking great. I still remember it. Anyways, beautiful. And I killed the baby, which is not what the song's about, by the way.
Oh, Jesus.
So now that it's been confirmed to us by Andy, and I don't think we said this. I think we said this. It's not a secret, but I don't remember if this was in notes that he just gave to us or if we read it. But Rob was aware of and into, at least in some way, the Aleister Crowley tarot deck. And that's where the tower came from. This song is absolutely dripping with tarot symbolism. As a matter of fact, I think it is the absolute prime key to unlock almost everything in this song. Not everything necessarily, because it's Rob and it's more universal, but there is so much fucking symbolism from the tarot, particularly two cards, the Devil, which is a major arcana card.
Go off, because I only figured it out towards the end of my note writing, and I'm really glad you're doing this.
Yeah, no. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The Devil, which is a major arcana card, and the Prince of Cups, which is a minor arcana card. So we'll start with the Devil. And I'm specifically talking about, there's all sorts of different tarot interpretations. I'm going to focus in on the Crowley one, because I think that's the symbolism that rises up to me. First of all, I'll be on record. I fucking hate Crowley. I know a lot about him. I know a lot about the esoteric world. Crowley was an idiot. I'll just say that, but that's just so that my views on the subject are on the table. But he was a beautiful artist. His tarot work was gorgeous. Go look up the Crowley tarot deck. we already saw the art for the tower that he drew, that Matthew expertly worked into our title for that episode, which is fucking great. So the two cards, the Devil and the Prince of Cups. The Devil card. So the Devil in the tarot, and first of all, it's going to be hard to be coherent about this, but tarot imagery is all over the place. The very first stanza, he talks about, you've run out of screams, you've scattered the deck, right? Well, that's a deck of cards. It's a deck of tarot cards. So he's right off the bat showing that that's what he's talking about. So the Devil card, and also, well, let me back up a little bit. Tarot cards, when you're laying them out to use them as a divining tool or as a tool for self-inquiry, because that's really what the tarot is about. It's not about telling the future. It's not about fortune telling so much as it is about using them as an esoteric tool to have universal symbols to gain better insight into oneself, into one's nature. That's certainly what Crowley was using it for, not for, let me tell the future and see who you're going to date or how rich you're going to be. It was much more deeply esoteric than that. And I'm sure that's where Rob was coming from when he dove into it. And that's probably why he chose the Crowley tarot deck. But when you're playing tarot cards, they can be played face up or face down. Not face up or face down, meaning right side up or right side down.
Upside
right?
down or
like they're turned, like they're either facing up or they're upside down. That's the word I'm looking for. And
Inverted.
they mean different things. And there are sets of lyrics throughout this entire piece of music that are inverted, where he takes things and he says them one way, and then he takes them and he says them exactly the opposite way. So I think he's doing that all the time as you go through this song. It's said one way in one stanza, then it's flipped and said the other way in another stanza. There's a lot of instances of that. First of all, also, small side, this song is sexy as fucking hell. I'm just going to say it. This song is sexy as fucking hell. Also, a nod to the Devil, it starts in 6/4 time before it moves to 4/4 time. And I was
6/4.
I think they dropped an easy out in that. I was hoping when I first realized that, I'm like, oh, please only be 6 bars of this. Please only be 6 bars. Because I was hoping
come on, that'd be cheesy.
Yeah, but it's not. It's 8. But still, I love that they start in 6/4 time, number of the beast, and then move to 4/4. So back to the tarot. The Devil card, major arcana card. The Devil doesn't represent the devil. It doesn't represent Satan. It's much broader than that. It represents strong power that is instinctive and provocative, a craving for power. One of the most provocative statements I read about it is that it represents an energy that desires evil and constantly causes it to be good, meaning that even by their striving to do evil, it turns it into something good, which really made me think of that line, thou shalt not kill, this is my will, rise up and kill, this is my will. You have these two polar opposite statements, one wishing evil, one wishing good, right? Or that becomes good, or the reverse. So it's interesting. And it also kind of goes back to the
killing in the name of good too.
That's right. It goes back to the Crowley, one of Crowley's main maxims, which was do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So the Devil card also represents masculine energy at its most masculine. And I think that's easy to see in this, right? Your cock is erect. It's this very masculine, lustful, violent. And no, I'm serious. This violent
tongue sticking out.
Yeah, this tongue sticking out, which actually the devil in this is most akin to images of Krampus. I think that we've been looking at, like, we're in that season, but like when I was looking up images of the devil, I'm like, the ones that really look like what he's talking about are Krampus more than any other devil. But in any event, so the devil is this sense of this masculine energy that's almost too masculine, a strong power, this sense of naked will, unfocused. That's just like this lustful will that's kind of loose in the world, especially in its inverted sense. And then the other one he talks about, he specifically says, I'm the Prince of Cups. And the Prince of Cups is a tarot card. It's a minor arcana card. And in the Crowley Tarot, the Prince of Cups shows a blue man riding a chariot pulled by an eagle, drinking from a stagnant pond. And this prince is drinking from a cup. So up from the muck, my tongue's in the cup. He's rising from a stagnant pool. His tongue is in this cup. And the Prince of Cups partially represents depravity. It represents subtlety, secret violence, but it can also represent intelligence, craft, artistry. It's also, this card is heavily associated with the color blue, which made me feel great because it was like, why does he say blue-eyed creep? There's no devils I could find that have blue eyes, or other than people calling devil with the blue eyes white man. The white man was the devil with the blue eyes back in, like, Asians would say that and stuff when we were colonizing their
There's a soul coughing song called Blue Eyed Devil.
Nice. There you go. He's clearly referencing that, although I'm sure that comes after this. And the Prince of Cups is the child of fire and water, which really plays into that line, flame and steam, the flush of lust. So down to these little bits, once I found this connection, every fucking line, I'm like, oh my God, he's like looking at these cards and unpacking them for me in all of the fucking lyrics, even down to the degree, although this is more just about the nature of divination, that line, you're shaken and taken and cast all about. Yes, that makes me feel like being caught in the jaws of a predator, but that's also, you shake and you cast bones and sticks for divination. That's a very ancient form of divination. So that's another form of divination that he's referencing in these lyrics. And just that feeling of latent lust, power, will. I think he's referencing Nietzsche at the end, which we know Rob has referenced earlier. They certainly talk about that a little bit cheekily in Live and Cuddly in one of their little interstitials. But when he talks about the hammer, Nietzsche used that phrase, philosophizing with a hammer, in his book Twilight of the Gods, which was all about breaking down and tearing down the false idols that had been erupted in religion and philosophy during that age, and trying to replace it with legitimate, what he thought, powerful images in philosophy and mysticism. And the way that he screams that, and the way that it's, he also pairs it with "This is my will," which is another really strong Nietzschean statement, this will to power. It really felt like a little bit of a call to Nietzsche at the end of this song. All of that's great. All of that's wonderful. I felt great to go like, oh, fuck, look at Rob go with his talking about the tarot and how wonderfully he's woven in the poetry. But all of that to me is just secondary to how fucking shredding this music is. Yeah. And that the last third of this, when he has that like, bum, huh, bum, ha, bum,
yep.
Huh, that screech. And I want to go on record as saying that while this song is good live and there's some good YouTube versions, none of them can hold a candle, because this song lives in Rob's early pre-nodal days. Like that higher octave that he sings this
days.
The octave that he lives in when he sings this song makes it. It doesn't make it, but it elevates it. It's gorgeous. And his screaming and his calling and those like the tribal primal calls in the background are just, they're gorgeous. They just get in my guts and in my nuts. And I just am like, oh, this song lives in my guts and my nuts. And it's beautiful. And the way that he has those bells, which are in a major chord, but then the bells play under the bass in this like slowed down, fucked up tone that just sets up a dissonance that just makes my spine tingle. God, this song is so good, you guys. You guys.
Is this the number one?
I don't think it's number one, maybe, but this song, I've always loved it, but this song, listening to it this closely, it rose way fucking up there. It is, I cannot believe they came up with a song and made it this good, this early. And folks, if you have not, please listen to this song on headphones, please, because the production in this song,
I just bought new headphones today. I went for a walk in the snow.
It is like it is all over. The way that his voice moves from side to side, the way the drums go from side to side, the way the screams peel from one side, the drums, the bells are on one side. It's just like, fuck! I want to fuck this song. Is what I want to do. It's so good.
You know what, Jordan? You know what?
So good.
You know what? This song also wants to fuck
you. It wants to fuck me, and you know what? I consent.
Oh my God!
I consent to that transaction because I love this song. Okay,
you guys go to Pornhub to look for your porn. This is porn to me. Watching you talk like this.
This is way better.
I'll watch this. I'll watch you fuck this song.
Thumping his desk, and the Zoom window was like vibrating. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's not what he was thumping.
I'm sure I have more notes, but I think I've said everything I want to say. What I really want to put across to people is that I feel intensely passionate about what they created with this song. I think it is very special.
I think you did that.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very special, and it shows how unique and special and precious this band is. I'm done. Michelle.
Well demonstrated, Jordan Flato.
You're gonna
Michelle.
want to turn yourself down.
I'm sure I'm going. I'm looking at my waveform, and it's way too big.
I know your mouth was right next to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
And as he polishes off his Armagnac.
hey.
Michelle, how many googly eyes we got for this fucker?
Oh, I didn't even write any. Shame on me. Out of 10 googly eyes, I'd give this. I'd probably give it 10 googly eyes.
11.
All
I'm
right.
gonna grab another.
All right,
give
11.
me, hey guys, give me 20 seconds. I'm gonna grab another beer. Hang on,
Yeah, you're gonna.
because I want to hear what you
too.
have to say.
All
No,
right, okay.
I totally am.
No, I want Jordan to talk some more. So to keep.
I don't have
no.
any. I really like. But I was.
Listen.
I never thought beer. Oh, he's got it. He's got the beer. All right, we're back with
Oh,
beer.
there we go. I am on holidays. I don't have to go back to work for another 5 days or so. So another beer.
Drink up,
everybody.
Scotty.
We're gonna need
Yep.
it. All right, Michelle, what do you got for us?
All right, I wrote that word, and if any of you've gotten John Wright's signature or autograph, you know that he writes that a lot. All right, John. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it on like 3 things. What is
This beer company used
Oh,
to be
that's
owned by
Blair's.
Blair Kalibaba. Yeah.
That's Blair's.
Nice.
Yeah, bomber. All right, so I am a bit obsessed with this song. It's probably in my top 10 list, so I'm a fan too. I'm a fan too. The simplicity of this is just as chilling as its delivery. The beginning, with Rob's bell-like bass part, combined with what I think are actual concert tubular bells, but maybe John's playing something on the keyboard with that
Tubular,
patch.
dude.
I don't know if he's playing. I'd like to think he would have had access to some tubular symphonic bells. It's pretty exciting. Anyways, the beginning is just absolutely wonderful. After the celestial beginning, this stripped-down groove belts in, and it's as intimate as it is colossal. This song had to be one where they looked at each other and knew that they had the blueprint for the rest of their life's work. Right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I know, because we're just doing it. This is it. There's so much to listen to, even though there's so few instruments used. The song sounds menacing, brooding, and thunderous. Rob's early voice is really wild in this, and it has plenty of urgency in it. And just to reiterate, and I'll read what I wrote, I will use the last remaining space to implore all of you to find the video that a very kind soul made where he put this song against an old silent movie, and it's called Satan in Prison versus No Means No. It's 2 worlds colliding, and it's completely amazeballs.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, Satan in Prison versus No Means No. You couldn't have picked. That guy's a
So
genius.
good. It's so good.
I can't. I've watched it hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I love it. Sometimes I watch that before I go to bed. Before I turn off I'm serious. I love
Sweet
it.
dreams.
Special times.
I just love. I love that video. They could have made a better one
Well,
than that.
she did say that she'd rather listen to that song than have pornography, so that it all tracks.
Well, there you go.
Matthew, you're up.
Yeah.
I love the beginning. It sounds so optimistic, and then the bells are kind of bending.
Yeah.
It's like a call to church, and then it gets real weird and dark. It's a really interesting choice. I can't think of any other song where instead of a snare hit, it's a snare rim
Yeah.
hit. Like rim clicks, not a rim shot, but a rim click.
Yeah.
And that is pretty interesting. It's like,
Not a lot of cymbals either, right?
no,
Just mostly
Some towards the end, and where he goes crazy on them, but yeah, not in general.
lot of
You're right.
floor tom stuff.
Yeah.
I almost
Primal.
feel like it was an intentional, tribal, and that's the exact adjective I wrote right there. Right there.
Yep.
I can see it through your
Right there.
eyes.
It's yes, indeed. Tribal. That it is like the beginnings of a ritual or something like that. And I mean, I did read out some of these quotations to these previous 2 songs, Sex is Philosophy and Ashes to Ashes, where they're all different sort of views of the same thing, where there's a progression of man to beast. And there's a line, and there's a Rubicon. There's like a point at which can't be crossed, and maybe there's a little bit more permeability in this song that we're both. It's a little more accepted that we're not monsters, just that we all contain the red devil. Which is, kind of an interesting thought. Hang on a second. I just want to get the lyrics back here. The monster's asleep.
Can I say something?
Sure,
real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's so funny to me. This year at our house, we only had one trick-or-treater, and it was a little kid dressed up as a devil.
Nice.
And I was fucking dying because I just was like,
kid, I got a YouTube video to show you. Come here.
No, but I'm sorry, Matthew. Just remember when you said Red Devil, this kid showed up. The only trick or treat.
Yeah, listen to this song about erect cocks.
No, I don't. No, I don't even hear that. But I love that our only trick or treater was a Red Devil.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, here, have the whole bowl.
Pretty nice.
All right, go on, Matthew. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No. This echo is in so many No Means No songs, like all through their. The jungle is similar to this, where there's something monstrous going on in the human consciousness, or whatever the jungle represents. There's crazy people dancing around a fire in ecstasy, but also doing a human sacrifice. The monster's asleep. Your cock is erect, and your tongue is sticking out. You're burning, flame and steam, the blush of lust. And then from the other songs, my hair is on fire, my ass is burning, the temperature is beginning to rise. That we're barely in control of this stuff. We're animals. We're clever monkeys, but we're still monkeys. And
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
All right.
I love the sound of this. I mean, you can hear that it's like weird 4-track production. It's timeless in a way. It's very much of its time in other ways. It's pretty awesome. I did just at the end figure out the Prince of Cups thing, and I'm glad that Jordan delved so deeply into it, because I ran out of time and I was very interested in what that was. There's a lot of different sort of explorations of this character and this sort of this theme, this metaphor in different tarot decks. The one I was looking at was the Thoth deck, but that the Prince of Cups is actually calm and emotional, and then totally ego driven. So driven by instinct if it's inverted. So that's very much it also said the interpretation of this particular Thoth deck, that the Prince of Cups is also a little bit sort of gentler. It's the Knight of Cups in other decks.
Yeah, which is interesting because in Crowley he's got Knight and Prince, and it's so weird that in other ones they don't necessarily. It's a lot different. Yeah,
right. Yeah, but he's the bridge between emotion and reason, and that whether you flip that card is when you flip from man to beast or something like that. Anyway, I think you mentioned earlier where it's like he's screaming diddle-a-doo-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo. That's him working his way towards orgasm. Yeah, I think.
What?
And song's all about, so the tongue's in the cup. What does that refer to, do you think?
Yeah, well, and plus also in the tarot, the cup is a feminine symbol. Like it's very literally a feminine symbol.
It's the Grail, the Holy Grail, and
but also in the tarot picture, he's like sticking his tongue in the cup, basically. So it's all right there in the picture.
All right.
There's also sort of the fire symbol, and heaven. Fire in heaven is the Father and God, and ocean mother. This bridge between the two of them, and sort of maybe that there's a little bit of a Oedipal thing going on, which isn't quite right, but very understandable for everybody. Anyway, okay.
Someone's horny.
Yeah, the song, exactly. I think everybody feels this way about this song. How about you?
Some more than others.
Perhaps. Jordan. It's a sexy song.
It's sexy as fuck.
Yeah. I love that he sort of starts getting a little more frenzied towards the end, including the music.
Yeah.
He starts sounding a little bit more the nucleus of the crazy preacher Rob, which is there. Rise up and kill. This is my will. I wrote a little note to myself that I didn't think of. It's something that you thought of, or you made me think of. This is my will. I was explaining the other day, because I know things about linguistics, that English doesn't have a lot of tenses per se. We have a pure present tense. We have sometimes a pure past tense. But our future is always involved with this word will. I will go. I will do this. I will do that.
Right.
It's kind of an interesting thought that we need that sort of like strong intention. It's not something that you will do in the future. It's something that you will cause to be done in the future.
Yes. It's a force. Right? Yeah, it's the force of manifestation. It's the word that represents the force of manifestation in a way. One's will.
Yeah. And you never really think
do
of
that
that
too when you're going to die, though, right? Is that the same?
That's a
kind
different
of will?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's totally true.
It's my will.
Anyway, I really like the crescendo and starts screaming towards the end, and then it.
John does some belts in there too, doesn't he? Do
He
you
does,
kind of
yeah.
hear him in the back
sure.
there? He's just
Yeah.
I didn't listen to this song in the context of the album, but the way it cuts out, I'm not sure it's just where the track.
God, that's
fell.
Oh, it's so
gorgeous.
good. It goes right into Mama's Little Boy. Like
It's
perfect.
that's
yes, it's like a
gorgeous.
perfect.
I should listen to it
as a
in that
1-2 punch,
context,
as a
I wish.
1-2 punch, it's fucking
It's like
sublime.
She's So Heavy by
It's
the
sublime.
Beatles, where it just stops like that.
Yeah.
Because again, it's one of these situations where I'm listening to it in a certain context and it cuts out. I really there's a crescendo and it just cuts. It's almost like the ritual and the screaming and all of this weird shit is just beginning and it cuts off. And it's not
To
like
be
it's ended. It's
continued.
just that you exactly.
Yeah.
That's
it's a cliffhanger.
That's right when I was about to stab the baby in my little piece. Was right with that crescendo.
Totally.
So it's perfect.
Oh man, I want to see
You
some
raise
of
your,
these
raise,
videos.
raise your arm with holding
did
the
raise-
knife, and then the lights cut out.
Exactly.
Oh,
It's exactly what
man.
happened. It's exactly what happened.
Nice,
Broadway
nice.
show. We need to do a Broadway show.
Fantastic. Anyway, this is an absolute classic. I can't believe that they were doing this 40 fucking years
ago. 40
Wow.
years ago. And holds up as, like I think we've all said, as one of their best throughout their entire fucking career. That early, they had that level of genius.
Yep. There's something about this one, man. It's juicy. It's juicy as
It is
fuck.
juicy.
It's interesting that, going from Red Devil to Ashes to Sex is Philosophy.
Sounds
sorry,
like a
other way
completely
around.
different band.
Sex
Really?
and Philosophy in the middle. There's like this progression of maybe Rob's attitudes towards this conflation of sex and violence.
Yeah. This to me, and I, not to digress too much into it, but there really is an esoteric element to this song. I think he's not just talking about sex and violence in the way that he is in those other songs. I think there's something more metaphysical at work here. And that's why he's using these cards, which are really representing sort of universal forces. And I don't want to go too much more into it, but it's another thing in the tarot. When you have cards that are in conjunction, they influence each other in different ways. So the devil influencing the Prince of Cups, there's probably an entire fucking essay about that, part of which I have written here that I'm not going to read, but it's about, like how they, I think this was him being really poetic on a certain level about what he was reading at the time on a very, prosaic level. Like, I think he was diving deep into this philosophy, and he brilliantly, poetically incorporates it, but not just in the lyrics.
But this
He incorporates it in the music.
Funky bass line.
The music,
constantly.
the music
Damn.
makes me feel it. This is an example, and one of the reasons I think this song is so good is the music makes me feel what it's about.
Yeah.
I don't have to try to have two different tracks. All of it goes to the point. Every fucking piece of it goes to the point. And in their best songs, at their highest moments, that's what they do. And this is one of their earliest moments of like, fucking nailed it, guys.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it.
Fucking nailed it, guys. There's only two of them.
Only two of them.
I know.
For fuck's sake.
Yep.
And there's no guitar in this song. There's none.
Nope, none.
None. It's bass and drums and production.
And tubular bells.
That's what I think's going on.
shit.
I'd like to find out.
Okay, well, this is going to be
Wow.
a contentious vote, I guess. So
Well-
let's dive in, and I get to vote
Forgot we
first.
gotta vote.
My tongue is firmly in the cup of Red Devil.
Firm.
Firmly in the cup. My cock is erect. All right. Let's let Strangey break the tie, because this will clearly be a tie. Matthew, what's your vote for?
My cock is also erect.
Sorry, ladies. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
They
No, you're
can't. They
Hey,
can't.
wait, no. Don't be too sorry, because our
Help.
tongues are in the cup.
Our
I'm
tongues are in
so-
the cup.
oh my
We're good,
God.
men. Our tongues are in the cup first. Tongues are in the cup first. That's all I want to say. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, because sometimes that's what you have to do. Because we all know what's going to happen next.
Red Devil is my vote.
All right, Michelle, what's your vote?
Do I have to say it, or are you?
You have to say it out loud. You have to say it. We're done with our
You two
innuendo.
done making love here?
Now,
Jesus Christ! Red Devil.
nice, unanimous as it should be. And if there's
Yeah.
a single one of you out there that doesn't think that's the right choice, I just don't know what to say. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't think there'll be many out there who disagree.
No.
Watch
All right,
the video.
so-
Watch the video.
Yeah, please do. Seriously.
Serious.
See if I can't leak it in the show notes. So
Yeah, please.
Hey, you know what? You said leak. And you know what that makes me want to do?
he's got to go piddle.
I
gotta
really
pee?
do. I do.
Can I,
Hey.
because I'm reading Andy's corrections tonight. Can I just go ahead and start reading them since you've already
go,
read
go
these?
ahead, go
All
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
All right. So I'm going to read.
What if Matthew wants to hear him?
He's read them before. We've all read them. This is not new to
I
him.
haven't.
Oh, good.
I have
So
some self-control.
I don't. This will be new to you. We're going to read a little bit of Andy's corrections. We're doing 3 this time, only because where I would have broken it off, the last one, I didn't want to break it off. They deserve to go together because they were in the same episode. So, Andy, as always, thank you, sir. You're
Yes,
a
sir, thank
scholar
you.
and a gentleman. So, this is Andy. I can't do Andy's voice. It's just too fucking sassy
Don't
for me.
you
So
dare.
I'm just going to read it mine. So, pigs and dogs. This song is way before my time, but I remember Robbie telling me that he'd ripped off the guitar from Bowie's The Gene Genie for Pigs and Dogs. Then again, Bowie ripped off any number of old blues artists for Gene Genie. Rob's playing his 1970s Black Strat on this one in combination
Nice.
with the Boss DS1 distortion pedal and the
Nice.
echo feature of the trusty Roland DA30 unit. During the quiet parts, Rob seems to be using a flange pedal of some sort, though I can't remember what type it was. I believe it was also used during the guitar solo of more ICBMs, which we haven't played yet.
All right.
And then 0 plus 2 equals 1.
Oh yeah.
Quite possibly my favorite song on the album of the same name. I'm thinking Rob played the exact same riff over and over again without any variation. It wasn't strange that he wrote a song based on one bass pattern. I said it right, and then I changed my
Yeah.
my
Why did
thing.
you? Do you
I don't
need
know.
some
On one
attention?
bass, yep,
What is
on
this?
one bass pattern, like metronome. But usually he throw in all sorts of little licks to break it up. Here, he plays unrelentingly, almost hypnotically. There's simply no escape for the listener. John's drums are likely, consciously or not, influenced by Under the House of the Flowers of Romance by PIL, and to a lesser degree, Killing Joke's Exit off their second album. Lots of pummeling overdubs and disturbing sound effects. When I couldn't think of a way into the bass and drum riff when they were arranging the song, I chose to detune my lower E and A strings of my guitar way down and improvise on top of the riff. The
See,
strings
that's
were
fucking cool.
The strings were so loose that I could really bend them to extremes.
Mm-hmm,
Terry from the X had a lot of influence on my guitar parts on the whole 0 plus 2 album. From him, and to a certain degree from Fred Firth and Eugene Chadbourne, I cottoned on to the idea of playing the electric guitar less as a musical instrument and more as a physical object.
Oh baby. Oh baby.
Mary.
Uh-oh.
I don't have much to say about Mary, actually. Like Michelle mentioned, the musical hook of the song is the repetitive half step. It functions the same way as the one does in funk. This could likely have also existed as a 2-piece song, I think. A basic riff repeated with John getting his groove on ad infinitum. Still, Having just listened to it again for the first time in what must be almost 30 years,
Whoa!
I like the guitar too. And I think we succeeded in getting the right balance of form versus chaos in the studio recording.
Form versus chaos.
Here.
Form
It's so, I mean,
versus chaos.
Yeah. It's so odd to me, although it makes total sense for him to have not. I mean, I think he said this to us somewhere else that he hasn't really listened to these songs in 30 years. I've listened to these songs nonstop for 30 years, but I wasn't in the band. So it's so weird for me to think, like, how could you know about this band and not be listening to them constantly? Oh, I guess if you were in the fucking band, that's how. But there you go. All right, listener, we've reached the end.
This was a long one. Look at how long this was.
It's almost 2 fucking hours.
Whoa. Almost as long as the pee I just took.
Almost. I hope you spelled out "fuck you" in the snow with your pee.
Oh,
like
right.
Caulfield, but
Hey, you know what? I was just diagnosed this week with a actually legitimate medical condition, of which one of the symptoms is polyuria, which means you have to pee all the time. Like, straight up genuine thing. So you know what? You don't get to make fun of me anymore, fuckheads.
Wait, you don't think
I get
it
to
has
make fun
something
of
to do
you
with
all
your...
I fucking want. Just because you have a
2 beers?
condition doesn't mean I get to make fun of you. I'm sorry, it doesn't work
So
that
those
way.
2 beers didn't have anything to do with it?
It has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it.
I'm very woke
It's
and
the medical
sensitive, and
condition.
so I'm not going to hold back. So we have sent through Ashes to Ashes, and we have ruined your ability to listen to that song in any other way than the way Matthew has put it forward. And
Which is probably the way it was written.
We've sent I'm Dreaming to the deep sleep from which it will never wake up. We have put Red Devil where it right belongs, at the top of the pantheon, and Sexist Philosophy will be relegated to the shelves of a dusty library. But, listener, we thank you for your time.
Yes.
No Means No Thing is produced and edited by yours truly, Jordan Flato. Co-hosting and excellent podcast graphics are by Matthew Kowalik. Mistel, the strangest of us all, is our third and everyone's favorite co-host and official Foley artist. Okay. Thank you, as always, No Means No, for the use of stock taking as our intro and outro music. And as always, thank you to Andy for your corrections and support. And I just want to admit that I love all the little dark holes in your body bag. All right, you stuck around. Let's see what Twisted. There's not. I mean, there's a lot of songs left, but I'm running it. I'm clicking it. Oh boy, been waiting for this fucker to party. This'll be a party.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay.
And I also like the second pairing.
I'm waiting for a doozy. Where is it?
Well, there's not. Are you saying there's not a doozy in that first one?
Yeah, there is. There's a specific song I've been waiting for.
Oh yeah, I've got one song I'm waiting for. I think it's one of their
most complex. I think it's one of their most complex, but it hasn't popped up yet.
All right, so there you go. This is gonna be a fun episode. Don't hesitate to tune in, folks. Please do. We need you. I need you. We need you. You know how it goes. But until then, fuck off.